This is the stuff of horror films. 3 weeks ago, there was a dog who was hit on the side of the road in the pouring rain. I cannot remember the exact date, but I remember I was coming home from work. It was very late at night. It was around 10:30. This was a dog of whom I have known. I went by his owner's house, lights were off. I figured they were asleep, I would not disturb them. If his body was still here the next morning, I would go and tell them. His body was not here the next morning, so I thought, oh, they must have got him. But something kept eating at the back of my mind about this dog. Today on my way to work, I see a carcass on the side of the road. I turn around and I come back and I see that it is him. Again, 3 weeks later. What happened to this boy is he was thrown over the bank, and now that his carcass was light from decomposition and scavengers, the wild animals have pulled him back up onto the side of the road. This is my video evidence to prove that I am doing what I said I was going to do. My voice might sound a little muffled here because I'm dealing with a corpse that is 3 weeks decomp. It's raining. I'm not going to have the camera on for too long, not only because of the rain, but I'm by myself here because, nobody else but me can stand the smell. But, it's nasty. It's horrible. At least 3, maybe 4 weeks decomp. A dog that had died on the side of the road, somebody threw him in the ditch to leave him rot, and I can't stand that, so I'm burying him in my own pet cemetery. I had known this dog from around the area. I didn't know him well, but I did know him enough to recognize who he was. And so he's going to be put into this grave here, and I'll do a short little clip after I get him in, just to prove, not that I really have to prove it, but where I do pick up roadkill and I deal with dead animals, especially other canines like coyotes, foxes, other things in my jewelry, I want people to know I am not picking up people's pet animals to make art. If on the rare occasion that I pick up a dead dog or a cat, they come to be buried. So I just want to make that clear and show video evidence that I am not gathering people's pets, and this is what actually happens with them when I bring them home. So I'm going to go get him and see how that goes. So I have him into his grave. I'm not going to take the plastic off because I've got my face wrapped in a scarf and I can barely stand this. So if I can barely stand it, it's pretty nasty. So I've positioned him so that he is head first. His head is right here and he's curled. When he was alive, he was about a 50-pound dog. So, fuck. So, I'm going to fill him in, and then he will be put to rest. I've already said my prayers for him. I will probably smudge the grave afterwards because he is still lingering. Not just in smell, but his spirit is still lingering. For people who know me better, I am a bit of a psychic, and when I was digging the grave I could hear a dog whimpering, and my roommate said my dog was not crying, so it was him or one of the other dogs that are buried here. Somebody was crying, so I will smudge his grave after I'm done. I'm not going to bring the smudge sticks out now. I have done a non-smoke ceremony for him. He will get smudged afterwards. So right now I'm going to fill in his grave. I've marked the perimeter of his grave with sticks so that later when it comes time to mound and moss him, that I'll be able to find the perimeters to know exactly where to lay everything out. Now, mossing and mounding is what I do for my own animals. This is an example here. She needs to have some restoration done to her grave. This is Sassy. And you can see the rocks around the perimeter of the grave, and then it's mounded. Well, her mound needs some more dirt because it's sunk over time. But that's what I do with all of my animals, what I'm going to do with all of the dogs and cats I bring home. I'm hoping I don't bring a lot home, but I mean, once in a while it's bound to happen that I'm going to see a dead dog or a dead cat or a dead domestic pet animal. And if nobody claims them, I will bring them home and bury them myself, because there's just no need of them laying out there. And especially with this boy having been, like, he was thrown in the ditch. Somebody picked him up from the side of the road and flung him into the ditch. And then something else drug him up out. And it's just kind of disgusting when you think about it, because he was very, very close to where he had lived. And I mean, if anybody was looking for him, they would have seen him out there. So I just don't know what to think, really. But anyway, somebody took him and flung him in the ditch to decompose. And I mean, I don't care who you are, you don't fling a dog in the ditch. I mean, if you're not the dog's owner, you have no right to take that body and dispose of it. I mean, this state of decomp, yeah, because you know no one's coming for him. But if you see a dog who had just been killed, you don't fling it in the ditch, because somebody might be looking for him. And not knowing what happened to your pet is the worst thing in the world. I have a friend whose dog went missing 2 years ago, and she still thinks about him every day, and she's still hoping he's coming home. And I mean, I don't know about his particular humans, but I mean, other animals that are found on the road like this, they should have a chance to be found first. That's why, I mean, I seen him after this long, dug back out of the ditch, and I knew nobody was coming for him. So, I mean, in that state, I don't think he would have been recognizable to his humans. I mean, I still recognized him as the dog I had seen that night before, because there was still some hair on him. I could recognize it, and plus the size, and just the decomposition factor. I mean, this is a body that has been decomposing for 3 or 4 weeks. So I knew the time frame. This is the same dog that I seen that night in the pouring rain. This is the same boy. So, but he's alright now. He's at rest. His grave is still there. His spirit is still lingering. I can still feel that. So he is going to have more than just my words over him. He's going to have to be walked. So I'm not going to do that right now. But when I get some time to just lay and relax and go into my state, I'm going to walk him over the bridge. So if anybody wants to hear anything about my walking animals over the bridge, you can find that on my Wolf of Shadows 1986 channel. And it's there's 2 different titles there, where I've went on to Blog Talk Radio show. It was for Madam Star Wiccan's channel there, where I was interviewed about my work doing this stuff with animals. You can say I'm almost like the Doggy Grim Reaper. I help animals cross over. And I don't mean that by me killing them. I walk their soul over. Same way where there are some psychics that work with human souls who have died traumatic and unsettling deaths, or sudden deaths where the soul does not know they have died. I do that for animals. So that's what I'm going to have to do for this boy. I had to do it for a couple of my own dogs. Taz, I was right there when he was being euthanized, when he was old, and he took me with him. Strider, he was hit by a truck, and I don't really think he knew he was dead, because I kept feeling him around, and I had an extremely vivid dream where I was with him, and he was saying, well, what's going on, what's happening? So I had to tell him, I had to explain to him, you are dead, my love, and we have to go, and I took him where he needed to be. And I've done it for cats and all sorts of creatures. And deer. I've walked deer over. Deer who have been hit by vehicles on the road. I've done that. So, but that's extremely off topic to this channel. This is not meant to be a psychic channel or a promotional channel of my abilities, because I don't promote it. I was on the radio show a few times, and I stopped doing interviews because whenever I'd go on, I'd be scheduled to speak about a specific topic, like different stories and evidence for life after death of animals, continuance of the soul, whatnot, and what different religions feel on that topic. But it would immediately turn into a dial a psychic line, and I just can't do that. That's not how I work. I want to get a message out. I don't want to be one of those ones that sit there on the phone all day telling people, yes, Fluffy is here and there. And people are pretty damn arrogant too and ignorant about the process. They think that you can just go to the psychic and say, yes, what's my cat doing? Well, you have to be more specific. People think that psychics can just snap their fingers and know, but it doesn't work like that. If you just say, what's my cat doing, and you've had quite a few cats over your life, the psychic may end up with 50 cats sitting there on the other side saying, well, who does Mommy want to speak to? And then people think you're cold reading because you ask them to describe the cat's colorations or a picture. And when I just ask for a clear picture of their face. Because, I mean, if you're just getting the face, you're not, I don't want background in the images, I just want the animal's face. So, when I'm working and all I have is a picture of the eyes, how do I know that the person lives in this kind of house or has this kind of backyard if I don't have that in the picture? So anyway, my little friend is buried, and I will be doing his walk soon. So we'll get him where he needs to be so he can hopefully be at rest, be at peace, and maybe one day come back.